This is a certified hood classic.
Hello, listeners, and anyone else who might be listening to this in any other way, possibly in the future. Welcome to ASDF Batman's Working Title Podcast. You have officially been welcomed, and now let me introduce to you my main man, one of the best YouTube reviewers I've ever seen, Red Shirts. Love him, absolutely love him. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say, Red Shirts. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Hey, what is up? I just real quick, there's some beef I gotta address. Me and the BC, he's a good friend of mine, but like, I don't know. He came on here. He came on here last episode. You said he's the best movie reviewer. I don't know. I just want to say, if you ever have us on the same episode, I can't promise we're gonna be civil. It might get a little bloody.
Okay. That's a good possibility. Having more than one guest on the show, that's a good possibility. I'm down to do that. Anyway, yes, welcome to the podcast, everyone. Thank you all for listening in. This is my good friend Red Shirts. Absolutely love the guy. He is a YouTube reviewer who has his own YouTube channel. What else does he have? He has Letterboxd. And he's a great script writer. I can say that much. I've read some of his stuff. Yeah. He's got some really good. He has some really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Thank you, sir. That means a lot.
Yeah. So, Red Shirts. What film are we talking about today? What's the film that you choose?
So, so many films that we like, that we have in common. I wanted to pick one that I felt like I had some like stuff to bring of substance to talk about, so I picked In the Heights. It's one of my top films of 2021. I think it's your second, yeah?
Yep, that is absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Favorite film, yeah. In the Heights, I'm familiar with the show, the Broadway show. I got introduced to it honestly after Hamilton, as kind of most people did. I feel like it had its fan base 100% before, but I feel like people who haven't heard it, they go, oh, it's the the thing Lin-Manuel Miranda did before Hamilton, so it's I don't want to say it's the opposite of sophomore energy, I guess.
Yeah. It's the freshman energy. It's the freshman energy. But here's my hot take.
Yeah.
Not the movie. I don't think I like the movie better than the Hamilton, like the recording we got in Disney Plus, which would represent Hamilton as a whole. We'll just say that. I think In the Heights, the show, might be better than Hamilton. I
don't think that's a hot take. I mean, I 100% agree.
Oh, let's go. Okay, thank goodness. I thought I was gonna get yelled at.
No, there's tons of things you can compare them on, like the writing alone, the songs, the plot, performances, all that jazz. I think Hamilton has a better overall story. I mean, we're gonna get into the In the Heights story, but I think the music 100% is better in Heights.
All right, and thank you for bringing up that we're getting into the story, because today this might be the first guest episode where we had to warn you all about spoilers. Now we're not going to spoil right now. We're going to get into our very, very basic, very general thoughts about about the film, our feelings on it, and we're going to get into some more. We're going to get deeper, and as we get deeper with our feelings towards the show and everything, we will bring up spoilers that would bring up differences from the show to the film, or experiences with the show that we've had, anything like that.
Sure.
We will definitely warn you of spoilers, and I will add a little recording to tell you all to go to this timestamp to see our final remarks. But yeah, so In the Heights, directed by John M. Chu, released in 2021. This was a film I was excited to see last year.
Mm-hmm.
Really glad we got it now.
Yeah, I've been hyped for it. It was supposed to the Harvey Weinstein. What's his? Doesn't matter. He had the rights to it, and then stuff came out. And then I think it was the cast, and they're like, no, they cannot make this movie anymore. So it was supposed to be made a while ago. I feel like it's
Yes, it was supposed to be made quite a while ago, and
it's a pretty
then
old show, isn't it? When
oh,
did it come out?
they started
Debut on
work on
Broadway.
Lynn started his work in like the 90s, and then it
Wow.
finally became a full-fledged show, like with its official release after previews, in 2008. 2008.
Wow.
Let's say
And
the
wasn't
show
he
is
like,
pretty old.
yeah, he was I think I read he was 19 when he wrote it,
Yes,
which
he was very young. He was a
which
sophomore in
is
college. Yes.
insane. That's yeah. He what a legend.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get into my feelings with Lynn soon.
No,
Don't
yeah,
worry,
for
they're
sure.
not completely bad. They're not completely bad.
Okay.
But yeah, to give you a brief synopsis of In the Heights for anyone who doesn't know, because apparently this film did not do well at the box office, which I don't blame. There's still a pandemic going on now, and musicals usually never do that well. The synopsis is the story of Usnavi, a bodega owner who has mixed feelings about closing a store and retiring to the Dominican Republic or staying in Washington Heights, his neighborhood. And that doesn't give that film justice. It does not give that film justice.
Yeah, that's a super surface level. I mean, yeah, if you're not trying to get into spoilers, that's good. But yeah, the film is so much more than that. It's so many different stories and perspectives, and I mean, Usnavi is definitely I'd say the main character. He's narrating it, but I feel like every character honestly could be the main character.
Yes, that's sort of the beauty of In the Heights, not only as in the film but as the play. Don't worry, we're not gonna draw comparisons the entire time in this general section. But
Yeah, I'll
that was
try not to.
sort of the genius about the story, is that so many people being in a story that doesn't have too many really big stakes. It's not entirely a vibe film. There are stakes involved and everything, absolutely, but
They're way more personal.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Way more personal. And it's not like Avengers Endgame when the world's at stake. This is definitely
Well, I don't know.
We'll talk more about that.
Usnavi comes out of the portal behind Steve.
Oh, that'd be cool. Lynn
Piragua.
Yeah.
Gives Thanos Piragua.
Scrapes his face as the ice and uses his flakes as snow cone.
Yeah, purple snow cone. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
To get to general feelings about the film, I genuinely really enjoy the film. It is definitely it's top tier musicals I've ever seen, like for musical movie musicals. And it was definitely a highlight of 2021, the year. I remember I went to go see this very early, as red shirts might know. I went to go see it the Sunday before the film came out. I got invited to event screening, and it was, man, when I got out of the theater, I could not wait for red shirts, and I could not wait for a friend of ours, Soda, to see it. I could not wait. I couldn't wait. I was like, I want that at the theater. I had to text you guys immediately saying, you guys, you had to see this opening night. You have to.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen it opening night. I saw it on HBO Max, as kind of every movie this year, honestly. And yeah, that experience, I think I watched it. I don't think I watched it in chunks, actually. It's honestly one of the only movies on streaming, which it's so easy to just get up and pause it, but had me glued, honestly, from scene one. And yeah, this opening.
Thank goodness we're gonna talk about the opening. We'll talk way more about the opening, but let's just say that for anyone who doesn't want spoilers, man.
Yeah,
the
sorry,
opening.
I'm eager to
I was like, so am I. Don't worry. But as you could tell from both of our reactions, we both genuinely really love this film.
100%.
If before we get into the deeper stuff, in case our ratings change, my rating is 5 out of 5. I believe yours is 4.5 out of 5. Is that right?
Oh, let me think, because I always go out of 10 here. Let me think. That'd be 9 out of 10. That would be a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I think when I saw it, it was a 9. Maybe now it's maybe an 8. I think when we get talking about it more, I'm gonna remember like all the amazing stuff. let's say 8.5 for right now. Maybe at
8.5.
the end
Okay,
I'll go 9.
that's cool. That is cool.
Kinda,
That
yeah.
is absolutely cool.
Cool.
But yeah. As all the listeners know, I do my stuff out of 5. Everyone else does their out of 10. I don't do it to be different. It's just the rating I'm comfortable. It's just the thing I'm comfortable with.
Totally valid.
But yeah, that's sort of our reaction. The performances are genuinely pitch perfect. I can't think of a bad. Well, actually, here's a bad performance. That one extra in that one scene in the background. Actually, I'm just kidding. He was awesome.
I was like,
he was
am I
awesome
supposed to know what you're talking about? Okay.
No. It's a joke saying, like the ensemble here. I cannot believe it. I couldn't believe it.
It's okay when because you gotta compare it. I mean, even subconsciously to the show.
Subconsciously. Yeah,
And
even subconsciously.
and there's what is it? There's one line said by Usnavi in this. Hey y'all, good morning.
Hey y'all, good
For
morning.
some reason, I can't hear Lynn's voice like that is Usnavi to me. So and then he said that one line. I don't know. It's just that one line. Other than that, yeah, I'd agree.
That's actually a really good point. Is if I compare casts,
Mhm.
I think because I don't watch many. I mean, you can ask Red Shirts. I am crazy for musicals. I love listening to as much as I can. Love watching as much as I can. But what else is there?
Yeah, I grew up on musicals as well, actually.
Yeah, yes. He loves musicals as well. I think I'm way more biased towards movies, but man, when I think about the comparisons, it's really hard to see which one would beat the other. I think it's really hard.
It is. I've had a history with the musical, and then so my family had never heard of it up until the film came out, and I have family members who they listen to the movie recording first. They listen to it on Apple Music or whatever, and I'm like, just try to listen to the Broadway recording, and they try to listen to it, and they're like, it just doesn't sound like Usnavi, and I'm like, no, like
you
they,
screwed up, man. You didn't show them early enough. You screwed up.
I did.
When my father and I are driving, he'll usually want to play In the Heights, and I've listened to the movie soundtrack a bunch of times, like the whole thing, like front to back. I've listened to the whole thing, but I always play the Broadway cast. It's probably the one I prefer the most. But that is not to say that this movie cast isn't bad at all.
I think no.
I can't tell you.
I think there is one here. I'm gonna pull up the song the track list just to get the names right. I'm not a fake fan. Just want to have the names. Real quick, got one. If there is one flaw with the movie,
yeah,
just
I was
got
expecting
one.
this to come up. I was expecting it.
Yeah, it's I won't even call it a nitpick. I'm kind of mad about it. Here, let me. There's one song that is on the Broadway recording that is not on the movie. That's in the movie. Now I might be pronouncing it wrong. Inultil. Am I saying that right? Yeah. It's my favorite song. It's my favorite song in the show. I'm very biased to it. And yeah, and it's not in the movie. It's sung by, is it Nina's father?
Yes. Wait. Yes, it is Nina's father. Yes.
And so in the show, right? His wife is in the show, and in the movie she's not. And I'm like, okay, I guess you're combining the parent characters into one. That's fine. That means that he'll definitely get his own scene. He'll definitely get his own song, right? Right? No. Nope. And he's
go ahead.
No, he is an amazing actor. He's in the prequels. He's Leia Organa's father.
Yep.
Yeah, bro.
Bail Organa. Bail. Yeah.
Bail Organa. Yeah. I was so looking forward to his version, but no, we didn't get it. All right, I'm done. I get off my pedestal.
I'll defend. I'm going to defend against that and say he does have a scene. Now, I will say, I was a little upset that song didn't make it as a song. It's a scene, however. It is written. It is not sung. I remember it vividly.
I remember. Yeah, I remember like getting the feel of that scene and the kind of message. Yeah.
And I completely understand why you're mad at it. It is your favorite song. I completely like if they did a Hamilton movie, which apparently they still might. They might. They might. I'm gonna go see it because as red shirts will always tell you about me is that I will try and watch as many films as I can.
yeah. You're kind of crazy like that. No.
Yeah, but I am going to go see. If it does happen, I am going to go see it. But if
Of
they took
course.
out if they took out Washington on Your Side, which is my favorite song from Hamilton,
Uh,
I'd be
yeah.
extremely mad. I'd be extremely mad.
I think that might be my favorite too, honestly.
Oh, let's go. Finally, someone else.
Bro. Yeah, at least top 3. But
Yeah.
I don't know, gotta listen to it.
But yeah, with Inutil, I absolutely understand why it is a defining character moment for Nina's father. Absolutely. And I was a bit I did think that was really weird. I wasn't really exactly pissed or anything, but I was like,
Yeah.
that's weird. They didn't give him a song, even though the film is almost 2.5 hours. Like it is almost that.
I think
yeah.
Honestly, if any films need to be 3 hours, I mean, obviously there's like some of the best films ever are 3 hours, but if any of them need to be, I make the argument for 2 types of films. Comic book films specifically because they're just so epic in scale, or at least some of them are, and musicals.
Absolutely.
Those are the only 2 I think need to be 3 hours. Obviously you can have, I guess, a 2-hour film, and it does work this way. I think obviously if this is your first intro into In the Heights, you're not going to know any different, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even though the runtime is not how we would want it, like if we had our own ideal version, we had a bunch of stuff from the show, we probably would.
If it were our ideal version,
3 hours. It would be 3 hours.
It would just be the musical just filmed. Like there would be no difference.
Yeah.
And yeah, that gets. Yeah, even in comic book movies, people will be like, if it's not exactly like the comic book, like frame it for frame, then they like riot. So I get you have to make some artistic changes. And by no means, I don't think it ruins the movie. But yeah, I would have been nice to hear my favorite song. I'm not mad about it. I am very mad about it.
I'm not mad about it. I'm very mad about it.
in parentheses, yeah, I'm actually very mad about it.
I fully understand. I fully understand it. It's just that they took lyrics from the song and embedded it into the dialogue, which I thought, hey, at least you didn't completely ignore it.
Sure, I think that you could see that, not that I necessarily do. You could see that as almost an insult, like, oh, so you're like deliberately like giving us little lines from this, like almost kind of like cheesy, like I don't recall exactly what line that they used, but yeah, I don't know.
They used I remember them using, like, it wasn't the entire song, absolutely not. Like, he has many in the.
If they just say the entire song, I'm like, no.
Now that would be the insult if they just said the entire song. But
incredibly insulting. But no.
But yeah, with the film's context, it is one of the few like adaptational changes that I do wish didn't happen. But I'm not completely mad about it, and I completely understand why you're mad about it. But to get away from that very spoilery point for any In the Heights musical fan, but yeah, that's our ratings still stand by whatever ratings we just said, 8.5 out of 10 and 5 out of 5 for me. And but yeah, are there any? Oh yeah, the cinematography. Now this one we had a bit of a talk about earlier before we recorded. But yeah, let's talk about John M. Chu and his cinematographer. Hold on, I need to check this to make sure I am correct.
Okay. Yeah,
go ahead and entertain them.
While he's checking. So last night, right, I watched Crazy Rich Asians. I wanted to watch, another Awkwafina movie before I saw Shang-Chi, which is my highest anticipated movie of like the next few years, honestly. And falling asleep last night, I realized that it's directed by the same guy who did In the Heights that I'm about to talk, or that we are talking about. And I can see the similarities, honestly, across the board. Okay, you're ready.
Yeah. I was like, if you want to keep talking, go ahead. It's cool.
I mean, yeah, we're good.
All right, and the cinematographer for this one was Alice Brooks. She does not have the biggest set yet. She has worked on 17 films, 2 of which I have seen, In the Heights and Gem and the Holograms, which is also a film directed by John M. Chu.
I still can't believe that is an actual movie and it didn't happen in a dream. Anyway.
Yeah. But her next film, the upcoming film, the film I'm excited to see, not like now that
Last
I know
Night in Soho? No.
no, well, it's actually Tick Tick Boom, Lin-Manuel Miranda's
Oh,
directorial debut.
no.
She is the
no
the
way.
cinematography for that one.
Andrew Garfield? Wow.
Andrew Garfield
I-
as freaking Jonathan Larson. That
Now,
sounds awesome.
now was that a show or is this an original
I
thing for
Jonathan Larson, the creator of Rent, he did these little, not stand-up things, but he did these little poem reads in front of other people. This is a film. It's sort of a biopic, sort of not. It is definitely.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely. I don't know if it's gonna be a full-on musical. I'm very sure it will be because it's Lin.
I mean, yeah.
He can't. I'm very sure he can't resist. I don't blame him though.
That's kind of his shtick, you know. I wouldn't blame him.
Like, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't blame if it's a full-on musical. I've seen the trailer like once. That's not to say I dislike the trailer or anything. I just have not seen it again.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, it's also going to be like dramatic, a little heightened and such. But I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited to see it. And
No,
but
for
to
sure,
get
me too.
but to get back to the cinematography of In the Heights, John M. Chu and Alice Brooks work very well together to make this film. We're not gonna spoil what makes this film what it is, but there's a narrative device and it actually works very well in the context, not just of the story. It's actually I was actually really worried when the trailer first
Are you
came
talking
out.
about a specific scene?
No,
I'm
like the opening scene before the opening, like before that crate before the scene that we're gonna talk about
Oh yeah,
later.
yeah.
That little
Okay,
scene
okay.
when like that
Got
narrative
it.
device is what sets up the film, and it sets it up
Mhm.
really, really well. It actually doesn't. We'll talk more about it
think it does, yeah.
later,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, the cinematography lends itself to a way more heightened reality, and if you've seen the trailers, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not
The
just musical.
cinematography.
Yeah.
The cinematography is, I mean, I think it's my second favorite aspect of the movie, first being music, but there's just something about the cinematography that goes so well with just the subject matter. There's a scene we can talk about later that in the Broadway show is like it's a fine scene. And like I've seen the show so many times, I know exactly when I'm gonna cry, right? And this scene doesn't
Nope.
usually get me. In the movie, I like
I'm
genuinely
sure
started.
I'm sure I know exactly what part you're talking about.
I don't think you. I did tear up at that part, the one that you're talking about, but it's a different scene. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, the cinematography is immaculate.
Yes, absolutely. Now, this one brings up a really reasonable complaint that I've read in some reviews, is that this is Latin music. This is and it's combined with Broadway choreography. They do not mix well. They do not mix. I'll say that right now. I definitely do think that it is sort of an issue, like mixing wise. But it's a Broadway show with Latin music. You are going to lose some of that Latin authenticness, which is why when I bring it up, I'm not sure if you're of any Latino or Hispanic origin. I'm not sure if you are.
Right. I was gonna bring that up. I'm like, I can't exactly comment on that, right? I'm like, honestly, like I'm 100% white. So yeah, I can't lie and say that like took me out of the film or anything. I didn't think about that. I definitely see that complaint though, like how you could feel that. I yeah. I guess please
But
talk
yeah,
about it, 'cause I can't.
one complaint I've read is that Latin music defines on dance as focusing on feet. So the dancing thing I was bringing up was that Latin dance has a lot with the feet and your legs. Has a lot to do with the legs. In fact, it's one of the most defining things of dance, not just Latin dance, but of dance.
Right, yeah.
Choreography obviously is when you're on the stage for Broadway, you obviously pay attention to the legs, you pay attention to the arms and everything else. Latin dance is not just the legs, it's not all about those, but it is one of the defining things that makes Latin dance so powerful, so impactful. And I read in a review that um that was missing here. And looking at like 96,000, which is in a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
see
scene
what
is
you mean.
amazing.
Wait, that thing's awesome. Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna shut down that scene.
Yeah,
By the
yeah,
way,
Okay,
for anyone that doesn't, I guess we're going to spoilers now. Screw it.
Yeah?
We'll have
Alright,
a
cool.
spoiler section. Well, we were playing times. Well, like we're having a spoiler section anyway. But we'll just call it now. What would you give a rating for it right now, so that way anyone who doesn't want spoilers, they can just be like, okay,
Yeah.
they recommended it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, okay, you said 5 out of 5 earlier. I'll go. I think a solid 4 out of 5.
Good. That's a good
my
rating. Yeah. That's yeah. Fully fair. Fully understand that because you're loss of intuitive.
I'm still. I don't know. Been listening to the soundtrack again. I'm like I've come to peace with it, honestly.
Oh,
Like,
good.
still would have liked it, but it is what it is. Okay, yeah, that's my rating.
Absolutely. Mine still stands at 5 out of 5. Actually, for my big sister's birthday to celebrate, we got the Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
the other month. Yeah, it was we watched
took it
it
off HBO Max.
Yeah, it's not on HBO Max anymore. It will be soon, I think. It should go.
Yeah,
there. It should.
Yeah, like they put Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs Kong back on it. I'm like, oh, okay, good. It's not like
So I expect it to come back like next year, like early next year.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and I rewatched it. Slapped.
Yep.
So let's say it still slaps.
Still a certified hood classic.
Yeah, it's a certified hood classic. Absolutely. So spoilers right now. You already know our ratings. We both highly recommend it. Yeah. We both highly recommend it for any musical fans, Broadway fans, In the Heights fans, or any Lin-Manuel Miranda fans. Great film. Now let's get into spoilers. So the main thing I want to talk about is your experience with our experiences with the show.
Right, yeah. So
you first, because yours is way more you have way more to say than I do about mine.
All right, yeah. So it was my sophomore year of high school. And I was like, I'm gonna do tech theater. So that's just like, working backstage and making sets and designing light cues and audio and all that. And they were doing In the Heights, which I'm like, I've never heard of that. And I had heard of Hamilton, so I got into the soundtrack a little bit, and then for every rehearsal, I was just listening to the soundtrack day in, day out. And I put microphones on people, so I got close to the actors. Great experience overall. But yeah, seeing the show that many times, and for Abuela's death scene, right? All of the dancers would be backstage, and they would all, like, every single time, always be on the floor just crying. And I'm not even making that up. Yeah, it was it was intense. And yeah, just seeing the show that many times, I'm like, okay, I know it in and out. That there's nothing that misses me, right? And so watching the movie, it gave me a new experience with the show, which I really appreciated. And yeah, I like seeing I guess John M. Chu's take on it, but it is still like very similar. It's not like a new story or anything. Yeah, we got to, well, according to legend, we used the set that the Broadway cast used.
Oh my!
Allegedly, right? Like that's what all the actors said. That's what the director said.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't believe it, but I don't know.
That'd be cool.
And what the Broadway cast would do is they would leave like little mementos on the set. They would write stuff in Sharpie. So I did also. I left a little note.
That's nice.
Just
nice.
Cement my if it is the Broadway cast show or the set, then yeah, I've left my my little 2 cents on the set.
You left
which
your mark. You left your mark
yeah,
on In
yeah,
the Heights,
my
dude.
my
You
mark.
left your.
That's
You've left your mark, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
That reminds me of Moana. I
Oh
did
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did a show over the summer for Moana. It was Moana Junior. There's this one
I was
scene
like,
where Maui just signed something. The last show, they told me to never ride on the hook. Cause
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
the hook, the oar. There was this oar that Moana
Oh
was
yeah.
threatening me with. Take out the Sharpie, pretend to do it, and then toss it off stage. Last night, I wrote this is not Maui, and then put my signature on it.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm glad. I'm very sure our director's mad at me. I'm very sure the director's mad at me.
I thought you were gonna bring up the end of Moana where they're like they have the stones laid up on the top of the mountain and she puts her seashell.
Mhm.
You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I remember.
I always found like, what if she has a son, right? And the son is like, okay, time for me to leave my mark, crushes the seashell. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
one thing that's one thing
that
from
just
the
that
film
just
that always haunted me. It always haunted me.
yeah, okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Anyway, yeah, back to In the Heights.
Uh,
That is my experience with the show. What is yours?
Mine is so I got into musical theater only because my big sister got me into musicals. And the
Oh,
only
same.
reason why she got me into musicals was because of so I did acting classes far away from my house, far away from my house.
Yeah.
And every night when she'd bring me back from my acting classes, she'd put on a bunch of musicals like Legally Blonde, Wicked, Rent, a bunch of really good ones. The
For
one
sure.
that all the one that always that caught my ear because it sounded distinctly like Latin music was In the Heights. She'd play In the Heights, she'd play 96,000,
Mm.
and she played Alabanza, which is a great
Ooh,
song, by the way. That's a great song.
that yeah.
She played that,
That
and
is when the
then
dancers would all be crying. Yeah. So anyway, continue. Got me
uh,
too. Yeah. In the
yeah.
movie, got me too. Yeah.
Um, so then that was my first exposure to it, and then recently we had gone to Christmas before COVID hit. Before COVID, I
Yep.
believe.
Mm.
Um, um, we went to Florida, and on the drive there, my big sister played the first song In the Heights, and I just became and I'm like, and this is after I learned about Hamilton. This is after I
Mm.
learned about everything about Lynn. This is after 21 Jump Street and so on and so forth.
Right.
And
Which I haven't heard. I haven't heard
oh,
21.
it's so good. It's like 30 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, a little bit of a interruption there.
Oh,
My
yeah. All
bad.
good.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
It's
30 minutes
definitely
long, huh?
30 minutes long, around that.
Interesting. All right.
There's actually a leaked version on YouTube with Lynn and Anthony Ramos. Anthony Ramos is, do you know the film 21 Jump Street, right?
Yes. Yes.
About how there's a cop going undercover
Right.
and everything like that. It's essentially that story, that real life story, except put in a musical and not with two cops that are
Oh,
funny.
huh.
Really good.
Hey,
It's
Is
really,
it like
really good.
on YouTube or where
Yeah, it's
can I
on
find
YouTube.
that?
It's on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
Just look up 21 Jump Street. It's either 30 minutes or 13. I can't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
It's
Okay.
short. It's a short one. But anyway, but yeah, learn about Lynn's existence and how awesome he is. And then I hear this. I'm like, that's Lynn's voice. That's awesome. What is the show? Make research. Then
Okay.
after Christmas, I start learning In the Heights. Start learning it.
Yeah.
And then my love for the show grew more and more. I saw a bunch of bootlegs. Don't tell anyone. Then I remembered that there's a movie coming out. I'm just like,
Oh, nice.
yes, I've got to see this. I went to an early screening that week, that Sunday. I went to an early screening,
Oh, nice.
completely blown away.
Yeah.
Then I went to go see it again that weekend.
So had you not heard the show before seeing the movie?
No,
I'm
I
confused.
had.
Okay.
I
Okay.
had.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got it.
Chris, it's like Christmas, and then there was like 2 years after. There was like
Mhm.
Christmas.
Got it.
Then
Okay.
a
Okay.
year after that, I knew the entire soundtrack front to back, and then this year when the film came out,
Right.
I had watched it that Sunday,
Got
that
it.
Sunday before, and then that weekend. that was very, very fun.
Yeah.
That's sort of my experience, was just that all the way back from a couple years ago, I had learned about its existence, and then I finally got to grow into and to learn it and to love it. Um, that's sort of my experience with it. Now let's talk about the differences between the stage and the. Since we're both very
Yeah.
knowledgeable of both of those, even if
I
your
like to think
production
so.
was even if your production was a while ago.
Yeah. I think the first thing that comes to mind is how they, it sounds kind of mean, how they kill Abuela. Like in the movie, I believe it's like the last scene or the last couple scenes where they reveal that that she won the lottery.
Mhm.
Whereas in the show, it's during Alabanza, I believe.
No, that's way before. They reveal that she has the lottery ticket.
Yes, yes,
Crap,
yes.
crap. It was after 96,000 or during it maybe. And Lynn. Oh wait no.
We're
Blackout,
we
blackout.
yeah.
I
We
have never
say
seen
we're
this
in the
much
Heights
money.
fans, but we don't know when Abuela died. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
But
because I remember
and
she's
Abuela,
on the ledge. Yeah,
yeah, and Abuela dies. They tell us in the song Atención,
right. Yeah.
which is when Mr. Rosario talks on the radio. That was taken out of the film, which I did not mind. There's
Mhm.
one difference I loved. I absolutely. You
Okay.
were talking about the death scene, right?
Yeah.
I love Abuela's death scene here. I am so glad it came up right after Blackout, because when you listen to the movie soundtrack, it's
Mhm.
a club, Blackout, this seamless transition, and then Blackout instead of in the musical, there's this big old build up and everything
Mhm.
stops. You hear the fireworks, and then you hear
Mhm.
him go in Washington Heights. Then this great big finale, like this little
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and
I can hear
and
it. Yeah.
and in the movie it
Yeah.
doesn't go. It goes like up out of the night sky, and then this nice little intro into Paciencia y Fe, and I
Yeah.
loved it. Oh man,
Yeah. No,
I
for
love,
sure. Yeah.
and that's
I like them both. Like I could honestly have them either way.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
her
out of all the changes made to the musical, that one is my favorite, coming this early,
yeah.
not. And another favorite big change of mine is there's not that many songs in comparison. I'm so glad about that.
Yeah.
I was pretty
Are
glad
you
about that.
okay? Okay.
I was pretty glad about that. I mean, like
I'm
Enrique was a note, was like the noticeable one, like the
right.
noticeable
Yeah.
change.
I'm of the camp where I'm like, I saw Hamilton first, uh, or I heard it first.
I was gonna say.
And so I'm used to literally like no dialogue, all songs. So when it's like when this movie is like a few songs, well, not a few songs, but like in comparison, like you said, a few songs, and I'm like, can we get back to the singing? Like, no,
I don't blame you. I don't
while
blame
we're
you.
in blackout territory, I guess. One of the scenes where it was like a TikTok audio for a while. It was Usnavi and Vanessa, and he's like, "You shaking your ass for like half of the heights." Yeah, that was not in the show. I mean, like I think it's a good scene where it's
Yeah,
like their conflict, like coming to a head. But what were you gonna say?
but yeah, to add to that,
Mhm.
in the show Blackout, it's not Usnavi and Vanessa that have that fight in the show. It is Benny and Nina that
Oh,
have
you're
that
right.
blowout,
Wow,
because
you're right. Yeah.
because because of the because everything that happens at, because that's one thing I'm also really glad about. They took that
Mhm.
out, because because um because think about this. They had the Blackout, um they had the club, where they have a blowout in front of the entire club,
Mhm.
Blackout when they both are just fighting, and then the next scene, that same night, that
Yeah.
morning, they slept together. Come on,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Come on. That's stupid. That's stupid.
Okay.
I was so
Yeah.
glad they took that out. I was so
Think
glad.
about this though. Ours is a high school production. How do you do that? How do you have? Yeah, that was really uh uh awkward backstage. Like for me specifically, because like we had a two-story set, and and then so the girl playing Nina and the guy playing Benny, they come out of wardrobe, or they do their costume change, and she's like wearing an oversized hoodie, and I'm like, oh, this is really like, and like, we all kind of tried to ignore it, and the director was like, this is this is weird, and then they walk up the ladder, and we're just like, that's weird. But yeah, they took it out of this, which I like. Yeah.
No, it wasn't like anything. Like I'm fine with them having like I don't even care if they have sex together. I don't even care.
Sure.
But the timing. Oh my gosh, this is like that. It picks up
Oh,
literally
wait,
immediately.
just died, and you have the audacity.
No, it's it picks up immediately after she says I don't need anything tonight.
Oh yeah.
Like that, like hearing that declaration, and then that happens the exact same night.
One
that
of my
drew me
favorite.
insane.
Yeah, one of my least favorite movie tropes in I think it's Before Sunset is the first right, do you know well, wait, am I remembering this movie wrong? Where she's like, you know what, let's not hook up. And then they have like this whole big like 5-minute scene about why they're not gonna hook up. And then they do. And I'm like, you kind of, or unless they,
Oh
wait.
wait, is that the one with when they're going through the park?
Yeah,
when you're home, when you're home.
Yeah.
Home. Are you talking about Benny and Nina?
I'm talking about Before Sunset, the movie.
Oh my gosh! I thought we were talking.
I'm sorry. I realized I kind of threw you for a loop right there.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no. My point is, yeah, I hate when they make a huge thing about like, no, I'm gonna say no to sex right now, and then it's like, but we want to have a sex scene in this movie. It's like, oh, okay. I guess I can, bend my morals, and I'm like, seriously.
Yeah. It just like adding that little what is it that little it just wastes time. It just wastes your time.
Yep.
I agree. I absolutely agree. What else is there? Another difference was how short Blackout was. I like that. There's like this whole little thing where like when it goes, oye, ¿qué pasó? Blackout, like it goes like that in the show. It goes on for like what, 2 minutes, and then they go.
That's because we have like we got to get the fireworks out on set. Like there's a lot of stuff going backstage, so like that's why.
I know, but
I was one of.
But I'm not saying I complained about
people.
that in the show. I'm just saying that noticing how fast it was, because it goes to that for like a minute, and then it goes, somebody better open this GD door, and all that. I was like, that's quick.
No, yeah. I was one of the people in the Blackout where to make it, like people break into the bodega. For the first half of the show, the bodega sign has like a false face on it, and then during Blackout we tear it off, and then it's supposed to be like this tattered one. So yeah, I was out there during Blackout, like tearing it off, like roughing stuff up for the break-in. Anyway, yeah, definitely a lot shorter.
And I did like that they changed from the looting and shooting thing, from a bad thing to like just leaving it alone in the movie. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that because the person who played Sonny in the movie, I cannot imagine having a baseball bat. I guess it's a humor. I get that is the humor from the show.
Yeah.
But when you actually watch the show and think of the cast, that guy was almost 30 years old when that guy was almost 30.
Okay, yeah. Our Sonny was played by the scrawniest like little girl.
Really?
Like
that's
legit,
awesome.
yeah. And she comes out there with like this huge baseball bat, and she's just like threatening guys. It worked, I guess. But like obviously like that is the Sonny I know. That is the first time I saw the show. That's what I think of. But yeah, that 30-year-old guy and then a scrawny high school girl. Yeah.
To get away from that part of the film. I liked the lyric changes from to 96,000. There was only 2 big ones.
There was Let me.
I'm gonna let you figure it out. I'm gonna let you figure it out before I.
I got what it's something about Obi-Wan Kenobi, yo. And instead of Donald Trump, it's Tiger Woods. Yeah, Tiger Woods. Something about a caddy. Yeah. Okay. Is that
Tiger
it?
Woods and I are the Tiger Woods and I own the links, and he's my caddy. From
Yeah.
Moto, keep the bling. I won the brass from that Frodo,
There
instead
goes
of
Mr. Braggadocio and
yo,
everything.
yeah, I got more flows than Obi-Wan Kenobi, yo.
Okay, so
Instead of the original line, which was I got more hoes than a phone book and was it
in our high school, like we did that line, like we didn't change it.
Okay.
So when I'm like, you have a PG-13 movie where you can like conceivably say whatever you want, and you're gonna change it, but then like in our high school, like okay, I'm glad that they changed the lines. I just find it funny that like us high schoolers were like, yeah, we'll say all that, like doesn't really matter. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
That and I assume you guys don't have anyone as genius as Lynn to like to get that little patch.
No, we didn't have any on staff. We didn't have any writers. Uh, yeah, 96,000 was really good. I want to talk about earlier. I said that there's a scene that I didn't expect to make me cry that it did.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you think that I'm talking about Abuela's big send off, right?
That's one scene I was thinking of. There's like a
I
number.
I didn't cry there. I didn't cry there. I
Right.
cried in. Let me pull up the soundtrack again. Just it's I'm almost certain it's Nina's song.
Breathe, breathe.
It's Breathe. Breathe.
That made me
And
cry. It made me cry.
because of the cinematography. So there's a part where she's climb to the highest place on every that part, and it goes up and transitions seamlessly into a flashback, and like her dad is up there first, like and the performance, her like shaking voice, like all of it, just the big sweeping camera movements, like something about that, just like I started to tear up, and I'm like, dang. And then literally I'll be just chilling in the car listening to it, and even then like remembering the scene, like I'll tear up. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and in the musical, it's like it's a fine scene. I kind of tune that part out. Like I'm not, okay, it's her scene. What's the next like cue, all that. But no, in the movie, that had my full attention. I was, yeah, that might be my new favorite, but in will well, okay, it's my new favorite on the movie soundtrack.
Mhm.
That's it.
I absolutely agree. I loved that this is a stage musical brought to the big screen, and man,
Yep,
did they use that big
they
screen.
made
I
it.
loved
Yeah,
it. They
yeah.
and they made when you see the bootlegs and maybe other
Mhm.
productions that are the other productions at other places, you'll see not many things take on that much because it's a film and it's a stage. There's only so much you could do with a two-story stage. It can't move it
Yeah,
that much.
yeah.
Like you can only move it for like the club maybe, but
Right. We didn't. We just had that set through the
mm,
club. It was,
mm,
yeah. We turned the
and
bodega into like a bar. Yeah.
mm,
Anyway.
yeah, but yeah, and in that scene specifically for Breathe, it's just her in that stage, which is powerful enough as it is. I am not shooting that
Mhm.
down at all. Like I have
Yeah.
seen the bootlegs of the Broadway production, slays it, absolutely like blows the crowd away, blows me away every time. But
Yeah.
I absolutely agree that this was taken up very well and translated very well on the big screen. I absolutely agree. I also
No,
I have no
100%.
idea I have no idea how to feel about the switch between in the musical it's Breathe and Bang's Dispatch. In the film they switch it. I have no idea how to feel about it. I'm not like
They skipped Breathe, and I'm like, what? What? You just skipped an entire, and I'm like, but when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, Breathe is my favorite, but like that's a huge thing
that's a
for her
huge song.
character, and then they went to it, and then now it's like my favorite. So I'm like, okay, you've redeemed yourself, but like I guess it really doesn't change like the show, but like
Not at
yeah,
all.
it was,
If it changes anything, it's maybe the pace. It's maybe the pace.
yeah,
Like maybe.
I can see that, yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
because didn't no, because everyone has their introduction in in the Heights number. I was gonna say, is it like because it introduces Benny technically like before Ven? Well, no, because they all had their own little what you look like you're gonna Say something.
It just occurred to me. In the Heights, like you said, In the Heights was the introduction for everyone
Mhm.
else except Nina. But what if Benny's Ditch Patch is the introduction to Nina and how much she's important to the bodega? Why she's going
Yeah.
everywhere? Like she's going to Abuela, she's going to Benny's Ditch Patch, she's going to visit Usnavi,
Yeah.
and breathes. Oh my
Okay,
god,
I'm glad I did that for you. Yeah.
dude!
Just blow your mind? You good?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You just helped.
Okay.
You just helped connect it. I like this change. I
So it's
like
a
it now.
10, right? No. Well, you already said it was a 10, so
Yeah.
we're past that. It's an 11 now. So
Yeah. Yeah,
no,
it's
yeah,
11. Oh man, that's cool. Oh, that's cool.
you know, I'm glad.
Oh man.
No, yeah, Breathe is good. Benny's Dispatch, I don't love the actor's voice, honestly.
Really? Wow.
I more than any other character, that character is synonymous with
Christopher Jackson.
oh no, what's his name? Christopher, what's
Christopher
his last
Jackson.
name?
Jackson.
Jackson, yeah. And like the actor like sounds kind of similar to him, but like I can't help but just thinking of Christopher wow, almost like Christopher Rock. Wow. Woke up Chris Breezy. No, yeah, his voice is fine. I just think of I miss Christopher Jackson. Anyway, he's good. The Nina that plays the actress that plays Nina, she's good. She's gonna be Batgirl, right?
Yep.
Wow, yeah.
Which is awesome.
She looks. What's the actress's name? When I first saw her, I thought of China Anne McClain
Yeah.
from Ant Farm. Yeah,
From Ant Farm and Black Lightning.
yeah, Black Lightning. I've seen clips of that. I haven't started it. It's a
And Grown Ups.
CW show though, so I'm like, no. Uh, okay. Anyway, getting back to things that are different. Paciencia y Fe, which is like the use of color in that scene, and okay, so flashbacks in film are very hit or miss for me. If they're not used effectively, I despise them. If they're done great, then obviously I love them. The use of flashbacks in these, the, well, there's the obvious going back to the Dominican Republic, right?
No, she's
Right.
going back. She's going back to New York when she first visited there.
No,
That's the
right.
time
So,
period.
but I'm talking about Usnavi, how he's talking about
He's always wanted.
talking to the
Yeah,
kids,
he wants.
right?
He wants to
Which
go
is
in.
revealed to not be well, I guess it is flash forward, but it's not where we think. And yeah, the flashbacks in the scene where she's holding the, what is it, the
The little. Yeah.
yeah
I know
yeah
what you're
yeah
talking about. I know what you're talking about.
on the train. Like flashbacks in this movie are so, it's never like an entire scene, if that makes sense. It's like hints to people's pasts, and that's explored visually, but it's never like, I don't know, there's never like the cheesy like dissolve to 15 years ago, or I don't know. Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
scene was like shot beautifully, edited beautifully. That's probably like not my favorite song in the show, but definitely visually my favorite scene
It's
in the
it's my it's my favorite scene of the
yeah.
film. It is my favorite song in the film, probably.
Yeah, okay.
I'm probably never gonna go back on that one.
That's
Um,
that's fair. That's probably number 2 or 3 for me, yeah.
the main reason, like bringing up to your flashback thing. What's funny,
Mhm.
the majority of the film is a flashback. That's so funny to me. And then and then and
Yeah,
then and then once
technically.
she's crossing the line between consciousness and death, going
Yeah.
through the train and going through a flashback through that consciousness. When you think about it, it's so complicated, but then when you watch it,
Yeah.
it's pulled off with such ease.
There's just
What?
there's just some things that cannot be achieved on stage. Like no matter like what budget they had for the stage musical, yeah, there's just some stuff that is like so beautifully done through the medium of film. And yeah, I don't know, that scene like so like didn't need to go that hard, like they outdid
Exactly, I
themselves.
know.
Yeah.
You could have already translated like her backstory, but you didn't have. But you
Oh
had to
no.
streamline everything else. Like you didn't have to
Yeah.
go that hard. Well done. Well
Yeah,
done.
I'm gonna just go find that scene again and just watch like that, or yeah.
The scenes
Yeah,
that made me like essentially nearly the entire film made me cry. Nearly everything. But
For sure.
breathe made me tear up quite a bit. I was like, was like, oh, dang. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
dang, that song slaps. And then
Yeah.
And then one point that actually made me tear up. Like there are two scenes. Like one scene was just them celebrating when they learned about her favorite record because it skips. You know, hold up,
Para
para siempre.
siempre, para siempre, para siempre. Yeah,
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 like and she goes, "This is my favorite because it skips." Like that whole scene,
yeah.
I lost it because of how well it just captures that familial setting, that little like
Oh yeah,
that feeling. How they did that, like
yeah.
I
It
couldn't
was like,
believe it. I couldn't believe it.
yeah. It felt like almost like there was no. I don't mean this in a bad way. That there was no point to the scene, and by that I mean like there was no like, oh, here's the plot moving forward. It was just, yeah, a nice like breather from the. It was
Slice
just
of
like very
life.
raw and not, yeah. It was just them hanging out, and I'm like, yeah, because there's a scene similar to that in the show, um, and it's, yeah, it's very. I don't know if this is the actor's fault, the high school actor's fault. Yeah, just like wooden and like, yeah, it doesn't really go anywhere and it doesn't serve a purpose. But in this, yeah, it's very,
Yeah,
uh,
it's
it
a slice
develops
of
the
life.
characters too.
It's a
Yeah, yeah,
slice
for
of
sure,
life
for
type of
sure.
thing. Yeah, and then there's another one. There's another thing just like that when they're all playing a bingo while grandma's resting, and then like
Oh yeah,
that one got a tear out of me. I was like, how did they do this twice? How?
yeah.
And then I hear galore. I went, no, you're not doing that to her. Not
You're
this
not.
early. Not this
Yeah,
early. Not this early.
yeah.
And then by the end, I'm almost on the ground bawling. I'm like not screaming, obviously.
You're right. Yeah.
I am inconsolable. I am done. And then she dies, and then Alabanza just makes it worse.
So
I
yeah,
wreck my body.
I'll be honest. I didn't get the translation for Alabanza when, like, every time that I'd seen the show, live. I never. It might have been like the actor's delivery that said the translation, because they say it in the song, but I never got it. And then my sister, while we're watching the movie, goes, "What does Alabanza mean?" And then they say it, and then I heard it perfectly, and I'm like, yeah, I
Mm.
definitely. I didn't cry as much as in Breathe, but yeah, that scene definitely got me to Alabanza.
And then Carnaval de Barrio, I just sat there.
Mm.
I wasn't crying again, but I was in complete awe, absolute awe. And then the rest, and then finale almost got me. Finale almost had me.
Yeah.
It almost did.
There's a real quick in a carnival. Uh, there's a woman in the back who's an extra who's waving a a Jamaican flag, and I'm like, there's no other Jamaican flags here. Anyway, yeah, yeah, no, Carnival is done really well too. Yeah, um, yeah, definitely. Like, I think all of my favorite songs from the show have remained my favorite, but a lot of the songs that are kind of like, either I was like doing something during that scene, or I just wasn't paying attention. I think all of the, like, I don't want to call them filler songs, but the ones that didn't hit as hard have like been elevated so much. Specifically Carnival, like, so when you do a show in high school that is so, obviously this entire cast is Latino. Well, is Benny?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. Um, and it's a pretty white high school. In the whites is what we called it. So Carnaval de Barrio didn't really work for me, not gonna lie. Watching a bunch of white kids go Carnaval, and I'm like we cast as many Latinos as we could. But no, yeah, that scene always kind of made me feel kind of weird. But no, watching it in the movie, that definitely elevated the scene for me.
That's one reason why it's a show that I will always want to do, but I know for a fact I cannot do it where I live. I can't.
Yeah, yeah,
Because all the Latinx people, they
yeah,
are either not interested in theater or are too shy to come out, or they are already there and there's just not a lot of us. But
yeah,
yeah, that's one reason. That's one reason why I want the show to never be touched here. Don't bring it here.
yeah.
Don't you dare. I went, don't you dare. We had Moana here. I was
Mhm.
Maui.
Oh, nice.
I of course look sort of the part, but that could only get away with it so much. As much as I love doing Moana, I just one day I was just we were just talking to our director, and his partner went and said, "Why Moana of all shows in Hicksville, Tennessee? Why?" And then he goes, our town is a fickle audience, and that he is right. They love their Disney. They love their, like for example, Hunchback of Notre Dame. We did that. Great show. In fact, it's probably the most beautiful show I've seen done here. In the near here, but the reason why it didn't do so well is because it was the stage play version on YouTube, the La Jolla Playhouse. So if you know anything about that, if you don't, then you should know that it ends really sadly. For
Okay.
spoilers for the thing, but Esmeralda dies. She does
Okay.
not live. She does not live.
I've never seen the Disney show or
Oh,
the original. I get it. No. You're all good. Yeah,
I definitely recommend you watch it. It's really good. Like I think
for
it's
sure.
better. I think it's better than the movie. The book is fine. It's always been fine. Um, um,
Cool.
but um, but she dies in it, and it's such a dour ending.
Mhm.
Like every time that there was this one little phrase in the finale song, I was always in tears, always,
Mm.
and just everything building up. Oh, it's such a good show, but it is the company that we are doing it with. It is their lowest grossing show
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say
of that
so
ending.
because it's not a Disney ending, huh?
Yeah, which
Interesting. Okay,
really
yeah,
which really made me sad. Which was I was like, well, that defines what's going to be shown here, isn't it?
yeah.
Really made me sad. But anyway, back to the thing. Yeah, Carnaval de Barrio. That's
Mm.
one song. That's one. This is a play that I do not want touched here. Please don't be. Please,
Yeah.
unless all the Latinx like talented people want to come out,
Mm.
of which come on, we will
Yeah.
accept you. We will accept you.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, again, I make fun of them in the whites, but like genuinely, like they like it was kind of good. Yeah, little cringy at parts, but definitely
Mhm.
I think it went over very well. Um, what spoiler did we just mention? We said
We just went through Carnival. We jumped through
right,
Carnival,
and then there
and
was something
and
about
then
abuelas about Presencia Fe I wanted to talk about, but I forget.
you
Anyway,
if it was visually, then you already talked about that.
yeah.
What else was
Anyway,
there? I love that they still don't reveal about the lottery ticket. I love that they like,
yeah.
and here's the thing: when I was in the early screening, no one had seen it yet, no one except for
Mm,
critics, and they wouldn't say anything. So I sat there, I was like, are they gonna forego the ticket? Are they gonna do that?
yeah,
I thought that'd
I
be a
thought they
ballsy
forgot it.
move.
Yeah,
That'd be a really ballsy move. You know, that'd be like I'd get mad or
yeah,
upset. I'd be angry,
yeah.
but they have mad balls. But then
No,
that nice
definitely.
little reveal, I'm just like, yes, you got you had me for a
He's
second.
like, "What's this?" I'm like, "It's the ticket," and he like, uh, if I'm not mistaken, so in the Heights, the I don't want to be like in the Heights, you know what I'm talking about, the first song. There's a shot where as it's ending and it's pulling out and it's all the dancers on the street. Is that shot reflected as the last shot of the film? Is that when he's
Sort
with
of,
his kid? Okay,
sort of.
okay.
It's reflected. It is a big shot that goes into the
Mm-hmm.
crowd and ends with Usnavi with it like here. This
Mm-hmm.
is Usnavi, like and it goes into in the Heights when he moves out of frame. It is
Yeah.
a reflection of that, absolutely, but only that part of the shot. Like
Okay.
it doesn't start there like it did like last time,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
which would make no sense because there's no dancers or anything like that. It'd be too
Yeah.
obvious, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like this little dolly shot here, cut, and then cut to everyone together, and then the last frame is her in the hat,
Oh
and
yeah.
then black. Oh man,
Yeah, which is a great
that
way
was
to
awesome.
end it. Yeah.
I agree. And let's talk about the framing, I guess. I liked the framing. I was actually pretty when I saw that it was a Usnavi, when I saw the trailers when I saw Usnavi at the island, I was like, huh. this is new.
Yeah.
When in the stage play, it is just Usnavi telling a crowd every night how this went, how this went. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
storytelling on how that, not like looking back at it for
Oh, right.
new generations, which is
Yeah.
which I was like,
I
that's interesting. And then through the whole
yeah.
movie, I liked it more as we went on.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I liked it.
I liked them. The two things I will say about them, the kid actors, I did not I don't like kid actors. Like kind of as a rule, like I just don't. I think there's only like a handful of good child performances. One of them, sorry, real quick. I just watched Doctor
Yeah.
Sleep again. The girl who plays Abra in that
Yes.
gives like maybe the best performance in the movie. Anyway, yeah. And I don't expect um all, kid actors to be good, but like there were like full on like dialogue scenes with like every single one of those kids, and I'm like, okay, let's get back to the movie. Anyway, and then the last when he's like reflecting on the heights, and he sees all the people on the beach. Do you remember that?
The finale. That
Yeah.
was the part I almost lost it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious that the Pedagua guy, that he was there, that
I
Lynn
thought
was
that was
there,
pretty
and I'm
funny.
like, Lynn, you're not like a main character in this movie. You don't have to like be in, like, I don't know.
I agree that I sat there like the reason why I didn't break was because Lynn was like there. He goes, "Beat." It was a jump scare. Beat Aqua. Oh, you're there.
I'm gonna make that into an edit where it's like some, I don't know, like The Conjuring. Okay, The Conjuring, when the light and the clap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just
Beat
gonna
Aqua.
Piragua.
Yeah.
No, yeah. He's like, at first I'm like, oh, it's cute, it's Lynn, he's the Piragua guy. And then he had like, which I think we talked
He
about
had
this
the
earlier. The
mm,
scene with
Christopher
Christopher, oh
Jackson.
yeah,
I'm
which
not gonna lie. I like that. I like that scene. I
no,
liked it.
I do too. I don't know. I just think I'm like, Lynn, okay, we get it. It's because I feel like there's a lot of fans like in the theater. It's like, mom. So this is Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he actually wrote. Have you heard of Hamilton? Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of cheesy, but like I enjoy it. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, the whole
I
end is amazing.
Do you know about the after credit scene then?
Of their like second encounter,
Yep.
Christopher Jackson. Yeah.
The
What,
reprise. The reprise.
I didn't know about it. And then my sisters watched it again, and they're like, "Did you know there's an after credit scene?" I'm like, "No,
I
run
did.
it back. What are you talking about?" Yeah. That
I
was
didn't. I didn't know. I actually didn't know about it every time. I didn't know about it until we got the right before we got the Blu-ray.
mhm.
Right before that, and what was it? It was yeah, we got the Blu-ray, and I had to skip ahead. I was like, I have to see it. I have to see it. And then it was the reprise. I was like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice little thing to close that on.
Yeah.
What else was there? What else was
Oh, and
there? Yeah, we
real
already
quick,
talked about that. Never mind. We're good.
yeah,
Yeah, we already talked about
real
it.
quick. I know I've said in the whites a lot, but the whitest kid in the class played the Piragua guy, and he knew no Spanish, and
But you
like
didn't.
didn't even try to like put on a, well, he kind of had like an accent, but like it was bad. Good thing he wasn't in it as much as Lynn was in it, because like if he were like, a main character, bro.
Mhm.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna bring up Lynn and Christopher in the movie, but we already talked about that.
Okay,
I like
yeah.
that. I really like that scene, especially the last frame is when you hear Christopher Jackson call Lynn punk.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember losing in the theater. I have no idea. I had no idea why that's so funny to me. Just punk. I have no idea why that's
Yeah.
so funny. And what else is there? Hmm, that's all the. I think those are all the really big points I really wanted to make with the differences of the show.
Yeah, I feel like there was, I mean, obviously there's like little details like here and there that it's like, oh, that one little thing was different. Yeah, nothing comes to mind. We talked about
I know there's probably a bunch more differences that we probably just skipped over, but um, hmm, I think that's about it for the
I think, yeah.
differences.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe if I had watched the show and the movie like last night. Like I could tell you everything, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we covered all the major stuff that pertains to how we view the movie, what our rating is, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's essentially it. Have you seen? Oh yeah, Tick Tick Boom. Can't wait for that.
th-
I can't wait.
was there a second trailer? I
Yes, there
think.
was. Yeah, the
Okay, I
second
haven't seen
trailer.
it yet.
The second
Uh,
trailer. It's
yeah,
it's a it is a musical.
yeah.
And it comes out the day after my birthday on Netflix.
Oh, sick,
I'm like,
sick. Yeah.
I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes, sir.
Like I've always known Andrew Garfield could sing because didn't he get his start on Broadway? Yeah. Okay. Uh,
He was a big theater guy on his end, and
yeah.
then he came over here.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that. I think he's a well from the trailer. I think he's a great singer, and I'm like,
I
because so
recommend
yeah,
that you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. No,
Sorry.
it is. So it's like a biopic, but because I was under the impression that it was already a musical that is just like being turned into a movie. But no, it's a biopic musical. Okay, okay,
Well, and it's not exactly the exact. It's not exactly the kind of biopic that you might think. It's just this point of the person who made Rent, Jonathan Larson.
right,
It's that point of his life when he's just been down on his luck, and he's in the making of Rent. And
got it.
for anyone that knows about Jonathan Larson, you know that before Rent could open, like literally the day before it opened, it was like a dress rehearsal. He died. He died that night.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and the next day they put on a performance of just singing. Like they didn't do the whole show. They just sung.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah.
Spoilers for the movie. No, I'm just kidding. Wow. So
But
when
yeah.
it's like you watching the Titanic, it's like guess what they sink at the bro spoil. It's like you can't spoil history. Anyway, no, yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely excited to see that. Uh, yeah, I didn't know it was. I didn't know that he had died. Well, to be fair, I've never heard Rent.
You
Uh,
should listen to Rent before you watch the movie. Trust me.
yeah, for sure. No,
I'm
yeah,
very sure
I
they're gonna.
was.
I'm very
I'm
sure they're
wondering
gonna rely on
if
it.
there's gonna be like Rent music in it. I don't know.
I'm very sure. I'm very sure a lot of it's gonna be original, not just by
Okay.
Lin, maybe, but
Well, right.
I'm very sure a lot of it's gonna
Yeah,
be original. I'm sure.
for
Like
sure. Cool.
if it's not, I'll be shocked.
And it is like directed by Lin, or is he
Directed,
just writing this?
directed
Okay, okay. Wow. Is this his first?
first directorial debut.
Wow.
He wanted
Yeah.
and he said he wanted to make a movie about his father.
Interesting.
I thought that was what's gonna be Tick Tick Boom was gonna be, but no.
Right.
But yeah, can't wait for Tick Tick Boom. There's a Lin. He is on top of the world right
He's
now.
batting 1,000.
Yeah, he's batting 1,000. Yeah, essentially, yeah. He's got a
He
perfect
did
400.
he did that Vivo.
I have not seen it yet. I
Okay.
plan to
Oh,
though.
a movie you haven't seen? Oh my gosh. No, yeah, I'll definitely check that out just because Lynn's name is attached to it, which is, I mean, of course, they're
He's also the
yeah,
main character.
yeah,
He's the voice.
it's like an orange monkey, yeah, 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 okay, yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I guess that closes out our feelings on In the Heights.
That does it.
It is a great
It is great.
it's a great musical adaptation to the big screen. We think that it utilizes the big screen in every way it can,
Yes.
and not even just that. It's just directed well, even for a movie.
Yeah.
Very well for a
Even
movie,
for a movie.
while we do realize there's a lot of changes for it, we realize that a lot of it was for the better to make a tighter
Yeah,
and more cohesive story.
I agree. Yeah.
And yeah, we like majority of the changes. If there's a song omission or two.
Yeah, I think we have the same feelings about it, except you express your thoughts in using a different number. Like I genuinely think we both enjoy the movie like the
Yeah,
same.
about as much. Yeah,
Um,
about.
to be fair, you give a lot of 10 out of 10s. I'm not gonna no, it's all good. Uh, no, I mean if you watch what you have 7,000 movies you've seen, if you see that much, of course you're gonna have
I have a
a lot
lot, bro.
of every ranking. Yeah, so I'm not mad about it. No, yeah, 8, 9, 10, one of those.
Mhm.
It's
It's in that
do it all
range.
around, yeah.
Yeah, In the Heights, directed by John M. Chu, released in 2020. And wait, no, 2021. My bad. My brain is
Oh,
getting. I hate time. Time is screwed up. COVID
yeah,
missed. I would say
at
COVID
this
messed up my
point,
time, but anyway,
2021.
thank you, Red Shirts. Thank you
It's been my
very
pleasure.
very
Thank
much
you
for
for
doing
having me,
this, man.
sir.
This was awesome. This was very
This
much
was.
awesome. Is there anything you want me to plug specifically?
I might have already mentioned it at the beginning, but the show that I crewed is on YouTube, right? Okay, it'll be in the description, the link to that.
Yes, sir.
I'm on Letterboxd. I'm at username with 2 M's, so like username or however you would pronounce that.
Amen.
And then on YouTube, yeah, I'm on YouTube at Red Shirts.
Mhm.
That's me.
That's right. That's right. He has a killer YouTube channel, some killer reviews, and
I,
he's
I
a
I
killer
don't
person.
post as much as I should. I'll definitely be posting more
I
as we go into 2022. But yeah,
I
look
expect
forward to
the
that.
I expect the Piragua guy.
Piragua meme, of course,
I
yes.
expect it. All right, so this was Red Shirts episode, and this is Richard. This is Richard. Sorry, ASDF Batman, and you just listened to ASDF Batman's Working Title podcast. That's right. I'm ending this episode seductively. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Much love. Good morning. Good wherever you are. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Adios.